Fallout 3 has an amazing world to explore with so many interesting characters and unique events that make the world feel so alive. One of the things that amplify this feeling is quests. They're full of iconic moments and choices that still stick with players years later. But not every quest shines. Some are clunky, annoying, or just plain boring that completely kill the game for players. We're going to be analyzing all the worst quests in Fallout 3 based on the community and of course my humble opinion about them. I've made one on Fallout New Vegas, so it's about time I make one on Fallout 3, so make sure you watch that after this video, and if you've already watched it, then you guys know the drill. We're going to be playing through all of them and determining which one is the worst one in the game, so without further ado, let's get into the first quest. Blood Ties is actually one of the more interesting quests in Fallout 3, but it has a poor execution. You get this quest by going to Arfew, which is a settlement on top of an elevated highway, and the first thing we'll notice is 3 decaying corpses of Brahmin. So it looks like we'll be heading up the road to find out what exactly happened, only to get greeted with an explosion to our face. Talk about explosive hospitality. Evan King will then talk to us and won't even apologize for almost blasting us to bits, but he'll then talk about this family, a gang that has been terrorizing the town, and now they're Brahmin. Now, being the hero that we are, we can now help him out and get the quest Blood Ties, and he'll ask us to check if everyone living there is okay. The Ewer residence is fine, but I almost wish they weren't, or at least the husband Ken, because he's a total asshole, not only to us, but his own wife.
Look, she's dumber than a bag of hammers, okay?
Now, I already don't like this quest because I can't tell him off or anything. I just have to play along with this prick. But moving on, it seems like it doesn't even get better because now we got to check on Karen, which doesn't look too hopeful, but she's actually alright, just a little worried. Thankfully, she doesn't act like her name, or else I would have lost it with the people in this town. And finally, checking on the West residence, we'll be met with a murder scene with bodies that look absolutely horrific. Using our detective skills, we can inspect the necks to find bite marks, and it looks like they've been drained of all their blood from them, which explains why there's not much blood around and why they look like raisins. So it would appear like this family is not your typical gang. They're vampires. Reporting back to Evan, breaking the news, he'll tell us to look for their child Ian, who was missing in the residence, so we have to look for him, aka the family. Now, this isn't the only member of the West family, as in Megaton, we can talk to Lucy West, who will ask us to deliver a note to her parents, and we can sadly break the news to her. Now, all hope isn't lost for Lucy because Ian still might be alive, and our best bet in finding him is to find the family. The big problem with the quest is that it doesn't tell you where to go. Evan just hints at where they probably might be hiding, like the Hamilton's Hideaway, the Moonbeam Cinema, or the metro station nearby. And by the way, it's actually none of these. They're actually at a train yard nearby, and the only way we can figure that out is by inspecting the dead West and finding out that there's train residue, which this message will only happen if we have a medicine of 90, because if we only have a medicine of 30, only this will pop up. So only if we have a medicine of 90 that we can report back to Evan, and he'll mention the train yard nearby. And even then, it still doesn't give you a quest marker, but thankfully it does give you a map marker. So just to clarify, you're not gonna really have a medicine of 90 this early in the game, as this quest is pretty early game. So it leads new players to pretty much check the 3 locations he listed, which can be confusing and annoying. Now, one of these locations actually is a bit helpful, as in the nearest metro station, the northwest one, we can talk to Murphy about the family, and he will thankfully give us a quest marker to the family. Heading there is actually pretty simple, just avoid the mass amount of traps along the way. Oh, what the? What in the world is that? After talking with this guy and infiltrating their base via Lucy's letter, we can talk to Vance, the leader of the family, who has Ian still alive. Now, surprisingly, he's a pretty chill guy, along with everybody else in the faction. We can get a bit of what the family is, and yeah, Vance pretty much has everybody brainwashed into becoming vampires, eliminating their fear and need of eating flesh by drinking blood. We can convince Vance to let us talk to Ian, which is not that hard, and once we meet him, we can see that he's been brainwashed. Vance did such a good job at brainwashing him that Ian admits that he's the one that did that to his parents.
I killed them. My own parents.
But after giving him Lucy's note, he will come to his senses and decide to leave the family. So now that that's out of the way, we can talk to Vance about their deal with Arfew, and we can convince him that Arfew will donate them blood bags in exchange for their protection. Finally, going back to Evan, we'll complete the quest, finishing it with 300 XP and the schematic for the shish kebab. We can also return to Vance, and he'll teach us the ways of becoming a blood-sucking vampire, allowing us to get this perk, which allows blood packs to heal 20 hit points instead of 1. Now, I never really used this perk in any of my runs, so I actually don't know how good it is, but it does seem okay at best. You can also get this legendary weapon Vance has in this wardrobe right here. So overall, the rewards are okay, and the quest is a pretty cool concept. Vampires in the wasteland, I mean, it gets you on your toes once you find the bite marks on the neck, and I can see why some people have some problems with this quest because it can be confusing to navigate, mainly for newer players. Since I've played this game so many times, I don't have an issue with blood ties. However, I do remember my first time playing the quest wasn't that great. It turns into a confusing search quest where you need to use context clues to figure out, which aren't that great either, and it just ends with players just searching it online and saving the headache. Love the family faction though. They add that craziness to the wasteland that makes Fallout 3 so special. But there's definitely worse quests out there, so let's move on to the next one. One that's far worse of a searching quest. The Nuka-Cola challenge is a quest you get a girder shade right here, and you talk to Sierra, who is a complete Nuka-Cola nutcase. She wants you to collect 30 Nuka-Cola quantums for her plan on making a Nuka-Cola grenade. The only problem is that in Fallout 3, Nuka-Cola quantums are extremely rare to come by. So this quest is just like the Star Bottle Cap quest in Fallout New Vegas, so no map marker whatsoever about the locations of these quantums. You can naturally accumulate these quantums along your playthrough, but realistically you're gonna get nowhere near 30 by the end of the game without purposely searching for them. And so the search begins for the quantums, and we actually do get a hint on where to start looking, and that's at the Nuka-Cola factory.
In fact, I do.
Oh my god,
Surprised you,
what was
didn't I?
that? So off to the Nuka-Cola factory it is. After we arrive, we'll get a quest marker to the terminal, and after battling through some Nuka-Cola Protectrons, we'll be faced with a warehouse employee simulation, where you constantly get written up for the smallest things. After dealing with him for making me remember my terrible warehouse experience, we can finally make it to the shipments, and they're at 3 other locations. The first one at Paradise Falls is not that bad to get into, just persuade the slavers and head inside and grab the 5 quantums. Second, at the Super Duper Market, we'll have 3 in the back. How depressing. And finally, Old Only, the place that's all the way up north of the map, infested with death claws for some Nuka-Cola quantum? I thought this girl was crazy, but she's completely out of her mind going all the way here to get some Nuka-Cola. But the quest does have challenge in the name, so I guess I can't be that upset over a challenge, but heading to the location, it's actually not in the town. Thankfully, but also not thankfully, because it was actually harder to find this truck than actually fighting the death claws, and we can grab ourselves 5 more quantums. So if we loot all the locations, including the ones at the Nuka-Cola factory, which is like I think 4, that'll put us at 17 quantums. So it looks like I'll be searching for the rest of the quantums, and man, is it painful. Majority of the locations in the game will only have 1 quantum. If you're lucky, you might just get 2. So I needed to travel all over the capital wasteland, collecting them one by one. Like going to the 3 shipment locations wasn't bad enough. But once we finally have 30, we can finally return back to her, and we can get the 300 XP and the schematic for the Nuka-Cola grenade. We can also give it to this guy that's living with her, but we lose karma doing so as he just wants to get in her pants. So overall, it's a challenge alright, but not a good one. It just has you going to location, getting one by one, and the reward isn't worth the effort. Especially considering that this isn't the only Nuka-Cola schematic in the game, so her comment about it being the only schematic is a lie. Shame on her. So you can easily get it at the Cliffside Caverns or buy it from Doc Hoff. Now it's not entirely useless because the more schematics you have, the more you get from crafting it, but it's still not a great reward. You can also sell her quantums for caps afterwards, but it's still not that great and there's much better ways in getting caps. I would have loved this giant Nuka-Cola display, however, or a Nuka-Cola theme for your house. That would have been far better. Like, give us something better. She doesn't even let us crack. It's definitely a bad one. But now let's talk about a quest that people hate on that surprised me because I actually like it. So let's dive into the next one. Trouble on the Homefront is a quest you get after finding your way into the Citadel with the Brotherhood of Steel in the main questline. You'll get a distress signal from your vault, the one you left so long ago, and search for your father, and it seems like the vault is in total shambles as Amada asks for your help. Going back and opening up the vault for the second time, we can see Jim Wilkins dead, and it looks like he was trying to escape the vault from all the chaos going on. Quite a surprising start already, but next we're gonna meet Gomez, who was a really nice guy to us growing up and helped us escape the vault, so naturally he'll help us find Amada. Inside the vault is a complete mess with people trying to revolt against the Overseer. Why is he pointing a gun in my face?
I didn't mean to fire. I really didn't.
Oh, that's nice
I
to
just
know while
wanted
he
to
has it
scare
in my
him off.
face. Perfectly fine. Reporting to Amada, she tells us everything's crazy with the Overseer hiding lies about the vault being closed forever as our dad was an outsider let in. She says to us that the outside world is better for everyone in the vault and wants us to resolve her father's dictatorship in the vault that's keeping everyone locked in. Now, once we're on our way to the Overseer, we'll be met with a hostile security guard, which is no match for our wasteland weaponry. Once we make it to the Overseer, we have three options to deal with the situation. Help him stop the resistance, convince him to open the vault, or take revenge on him for Jonas, but all these options lead to Rome. The most obvious choice for a good karma run would be to convince him to open the vault with a simple speech check. He'll realize if he keeps everyone locked in here, he's just gonna kill off everybody because their population is really low. He'll run to Amada and appoint her the new Overseer, yay! Except not really, because literally immediately after, she kicks us out of the vault forever.
So I have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry, but the situation is just too delicate for you to stay.
It's actually crazy. After all you did, all the fighting you did for her, because she's the one that called for your help, she won't even fight for you in the end. Now, this is a pretty obvious callback to the first Fallout where the Overseer kicks you out of the vault at the end of the game. So you get that same feeling and it just makes you want to go on a rampage against everybody. But there is actually a fourth hidden option where we can go to the reactor room in the vault and find this terminal that will sabotage the whole vault, springing them into even more chaos. Majority of the dwellers will run outside of the vault while the Overseer confronts you, and no matter what you choose, I think pretty much he dies anyways. And escaping the vault once again, you'll be met with Amada, who will talk to you, and we can either lie to her or tell her the truth, which none of it really matters anyways. Once you get outside the vault, the quest will complete and there won't be anybody in sight, but what some people might not know is that you can encounter some of the dwellers that escaped. The first is Freddy, and he dies to pretty much anything, so you can even find him losing to a boat fly. And the second is Amada, who's being interrogated by the Enclave about her vault's location, which I guess can also be seen as a Fallout 1 reference.
Can you tell us where your vault is?
But if we save her, she will just scream at us to go away. Yeah, she's quite unbearable, but I guess I can't blame her. I just gotta blame Bethesda for not being able to talk some sense into her.
It's all your fault.
And of course, we can find Butch at Rivet City, which no matter what ending you pick, he's always gonna be here. Now, overall, the quest could have been a bit better. Now, I said I like this quest, and that's simply because I love going back to the vault as some like leveled up badass in power armor and just putting everybody in their place. But now that I've replayed it and considered everything else, I can see why people hate this quest. And well, the most obvious one is that after all the work you do, Amada still kicks you you out of the vault. She's your best friend and soulmate in the game, and not even a minute after helping her out, she immediately has you kicked out. You go back to this vault where nobody likes you, everybody hates you, and not even Butch's mom likes you, which you literally save her life at the beginning of the game. And at this point, it feels like Amada hates you too, because you'd think that now that she's the overseer, she could talk some sense into everybody that you're not the bad guy, but no, she doesn't even bother to do that. And I love the message that Fallout 1 portrays at the end of the game, that, you know, Fallout is not forgiving at all. And you can see that they try to replicate that in this quest, but in Fallout 1, the overseer doesn't want anyone to grow up to be like you and live on the outside. In Fallout 3, Amada wants people to go outside for the better of the vault. So you'd think that having you around would actually be very beneficial, because, you know, you actually have the expertise to teach everybody the outside world. And they clearly need it, because Freddy dies to a literal boat fly and Amada gets captured by the Enclave. Now, if you decide to open up the vault and leave like Amada tells you to do, there will be a random encounter with Susie Mack, who's searching for food for the vault, and she says they're doing all right, but I still think that they would be better off with us helping out. The reward at the end of the quest isn't great either, and I can see why people end up just skipping it entirely, but at least you can pick up the medicine bobblehead in case you missed it in the beginning of the game. And not to mention the timing or triggering of this quest, because if you progress too far in the game, then you won't even get the quest. I think it would have been cooler if we got to help out the vault, customize it, and have it as a player home, and even have Amada as a follower, but hey, that's just me. Or just let us crack. But now let's look at a quest people swear is the worst one. One that I personally don't like and many others agree. You get this quest pretty early on in Fallout 3. As soon as you wander near the super duper market, out of nowhere you're chased by the most insufferable kid in the entire game, Brian Wilkes. He will find a way to get to you and pursue you like he's the nemesis. There is no hiding from this kid.
Those monsters.
There's no way.
They're gonna get me.
What are those toes? Bro's looking like the Hobbit. He cries about some monsters terrorizing his town, and being the wasteland savior that we are, we go to check it out in the town called Grey Ditch, and the terrifying beasts are just giant ants. I mean, obviously Fallout-sized mutated ants that breathe fire, but very obvious ants. I mean, I don't know how he made it this far without knowing what an ant is. Like, he was making it sound like it was some centaur deathclaw hybrid or something. Now we need to search for his father, which is inside of his house, and yeah, he gone. Now we need to break the bad news to him, and for some reason he was all the way over here in my playthrough. I have no idea what he was doing there, so I needed to wait for him, and this guy just took me out of the wait screen so he can talk to me. I swear this kid has admin commands. Now it's not over yet, because we need to solve the problem of this ant invasion going on, and it doesn't really tell you where to go, but Brian does hint at checking out the shack. We can find the personal logs of Dr. Lesko and his whereabouts, and he's in the metros, everyone's favorite place in Fallout 3. Now, battling through these ants can be tough because it's a very early quest and you don't have that many guns or ammo to deal with these annoying critters. So once we make it to the metros, we won't get a quest marker to the doctor, so just to make the metros even more miserable, we're gonna need to go scouring through the whole thing. Now, once we finally find him, he'll tell us he's kind of the reason why this is all happening and why they're breathing fire, but he'll tell us that we can fix this by killing the ant guardians guarding the queen, but not the queen, because he still wants to continue his experiments. And yeah, these guardians are tough with the starting weapons, and I ended up running out of ammo, but it's not impossible. Returning back to him, he'll reward us with one of these two perks, which both increase our fire resistance by 25%, which is alright, but also a permanent increase in either strength or perception by 1. This is the single greatest thing about this quest, as a permanent increase in your special stats this early in the game is awesome. So you're not gonna want to kill the ant queen because you want this reward. If you do accidentally kill it, there is a speed each check that you have to pass to still get the perk, but there's almost no point in killing the queen before getting your reward, because after you get your reward, you can just go and kill the queen, get the positive karma without any repercussions from Let's Go. Now returning back to Brian, we can see that the ants are all gone from the town and all is good, but it's still not over yet. We need to find this bastard a home, and yeah, he's got no parents, so he's gonna need a home, and we could just leave him here and just be done with the quest. But if we do want that karma and that quote-unquote, best ending outcome, we need to go all the way to Rivet City to find him a home. After you do all of that, the quest will complete, you'll get your good karma, and that's it. So overall, the quest makes you play Exterminator. You go through this ruined town shooting ants, you go through this metro blind, and then you head underground for even more ants, which all of them are just spewing fire in your face and you can't see anything. And of course, not to mention how difficult they can be this early in the game. And yeah, I absolutely hate this quest. If there's one quest I hate in this game, it's this one. And it doesn't really make much sense because it's got a good reward to it. And replaying it now made me realize how much good loot there is in the area. This is an amazing quest to do this early in the game. And now I'm wondering why I actually hated this quest to begin with, and why did so many other people agree with me? Could it be because of how annoying Brian Willocks just runs to you at the beginning of the game? Yeah, probably. But there's also the fact that you just want to go meet the Brotherhood of Steel and get even better weapons and get more equipped out, and you kind of just forget about this quest. It's kind of an annoying quest to do, and if I had to compare it to a quest in Fallout New Vegas, it would be Come Fly With Me. I treat these two quests the same by avoiding them. Even with the reward being good at the end, I always pass it by because of how boring it is. I feel like they could have done a lot better and made this quest a little more interesting. Like after you complete it, there would actually be people that show up to the town and actually start a settlement with shops and stores that you can purchase from. So overall, it's a solid quest to do early on in the game, but if you're not looking at the rewards and just looking at the quest by itself, it's not that great. But now let's look at a quest that's not really one singular quest, it's kind of a whole quest line, but I just had to put it in this video. One where the rewards are absolutely amazing, but it's absolutely terrible to do. Operation Anchorage is one of the DLCs in the game, and because of how simple and linear it is, I think it's fair to treat it like one long quest. If I were to pick the quests individually in this DLC, then half of this video would just be about Operation Anchorage. You'll get the first quest, aiding the outcasts from a distress signal, and you have to go through all these metro tunnels to get your way to the outcasts who are fighting super mutants, and then you have to help them out. Nothing too crazy. I usually go here at the beginning of the game, so with the help of the outcast, it's pretty alright. After clearing them out, you'll make it to their underground base where the armory is locked, and the only way to open it up is completing a simulation, which can only be done with the help of your Pip-Boy. So we'll suit up and head inside. The simulation will take us to the liberation of Alaska from the Chinese invaders before the bombs. And as cool as that sounds, it's pretty much a glorified Call of Duty mission from here on, which works as bad as you would expect in Fallout. You spend your whole time sneaking and fighting through these Chinese forces, which their bodies just disappear. There is no looting, there is no loot, because you keep nothing from this DLC. There is things you can collect and use, but only in this simulation. Our first task is to destroy 3 artillery cannons, and getting there is quite the journey as we sneak and fight through these enemy forces. And this is exactly what you'll be doing this whole DLC, just going from point A to point B. Wow, look at how cool this place is. Like, look at this town. It would have been so cool to explore it, but no, we're stuck here going from A to B this whole DLC. After destroying the 3 artillery cannons, we'll get transported to the general where he'll talk about 3 more objectives we need to complete. Now from here you can pick your class, and depending on the objective, it's best to pick, specific ones that'll help you a lot during them, but who cares about all that? Just pick the gun you like the most. There's also this pretty cool feature where you can customize your squad, but they just drop like a sack of potatoes, so it's not even that useful. Oh my god, dude. I literally spent all my squad points on that one sentry bot. Now we need to clear out all the enemies in this outpost, in and around it, and after we do all that, we go all the way back to point A again to complete the other objectives. We once again need to battle through a bunch of enemies, and this time we need to fight tanks, which is actually pretty cool and a nice change. But after we do all that, we head back to the final assault, going all the way through these trenches to then go to this field to deactivate the Teslas so that our buddies in power armor can cross, because they get absolutely fried. And now it's the final battle, face to face with the general, and yeah, you can avoid him completely with a simple speech check, but if you actually do want to fight him, be ready because he almost has the same amount of HP as a super mutant behemoth. After that, you wake up from the simulation and now you can open up the armory and have all of its glorious rewards. So overall, this DLC is a must to do because of all of its insane rewards, like the winterized T-51B power armor, which has an insane 10 million item HP, making it unbreakable. You also get so many other good items you can't forget about, like the shiny stealth suit, making you invisible while you crouch. Not only that, but there's also the Gary glitch where you can bring all your stuff from the simulation, including infinite amounts of ammo. But not considering any of the rewards and looking at the DLC by itself, it's an absolute chore to do and I hate it. It's really not exciting considering there's really nothing to explore and it just takes you away from what Fallout is. Of course, this is a simulation before Fallout, so I guess it kind of makes sense, but even Tranquility Lane feels more like you're playing Fallout. This DLC honestly had so much potential in my opinion. I mean, just look at all the surroundings, but it's all dumbed down to a linear, repetitive shooting enemies and pushing forward. And this is coming from someone who absolutely loves fighting human enemies. I mean, if there's a mod to change every enemy to a human, I'd install it because I just love getting into gunfights. But in this DLC, there's almost no satisfaction in clearing out these enemies, and I always dread playing it every time I start a new playthrough. And its rewards at the end almost make it worse because it essentially makes you have to play the DLC because of how good the items are. And of course, it is a DLC, so you pay to play this. So it's basically one long linear quest you have to do that takes up so much of your time in Fallout that you could be doing literally anything else. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Now, my opinion on the worst quest is those. Now, I get it, it's got an amazing reward in it, and it's great for the beginning of the game, but I don't know, I just avoid it. I hate it. It's just something I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be dealing with these fire-breathing ants this early in the game. And of course, we cannot forget about how annoying Brian Willicks is, or even the scientist. He's kind of annoying as well. And I'm kind of only saying those as the worst quest in the game because Operation Anchorage is a DLC with multiple quests and not just one quest. But if it was just one quest, just know I would absolutely pick Operation Anchorage because I just hate it that much. But realistically speaking, I think the worst quest has to be the Nuka-Cola challenge. The gameplay is terrible, the reward is terrible, so I guess that, realistically speaking, is the worst quest in the game. So those are just some of the most hated quests in Fallout 3, and if there's a quest in Fallout 3 that you absolutely hate, let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.